All right. We will get the link out to everybody here. I don't know where I am on the camera. I'm not here. Hello. Huh. Well, hopefully you can hear me. We'll find out in a second. Let's get the invite out to the group. Just give me a second here. All right. Should be good now, although my camera doesn't seem to want to work. And we'll get this going. Hey guys, we got the link is up in the link is up. Join us over on StreamYard. We're over in StreamYard now. Link is on the. Can you hear me? Link is on the Slack. Sorry. All right. So let's see here. Hey guys. Michael.
Hey Anthony.
Hello.
How's it? Man, it was amazing how well that draft went.
Yes. Quite a sigh of relief.
But I mean, you did so much prep work for it, so not that big of a surprise, I guess.
Didn't know till you got in there, right? Until and I was just, you never knew. I mean, if all of a sudden everybody was dropping every 5 seconds, or who knows what could have happened, and nothing like that happened. So that was very minimal stuff. It was good. It's good. All right. Well, we got these rosters here. We don't have them in order of position, which makes them a little bit difficult. It's in order of how they auctioned them, right? So here's Arizona, right, on the far left. And you just sort of see. I mean, those early guys, man. I guess that's one way to look at it too, even before looking at the teams, is to look at the summary. We got off to a pretty reasonable start, wouldn't you say? We DJ Reader for 29. That's good. Reasonable. Can you guys still hear me?
Yep.
Okay. If you see that up there on the screen, then we went kind of crazy for a little while. It's back. Mahomes at 82 to San Diego. And Gano for 20. You got Gano for 20, Michael. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, he's the best kicker in the set. I budgeted $20 for him. He popped up. I said I'll throw in the 20, and I got him.
Sure did. You know what the second highest bid was? You remember?
19.
No kidding.
What was it?
No kidding. Was it 19, the second highest?
Yeah, it was 19.
Then David Andrews, of all people. The next guy to go over 50 was Wilson. Now, I think Wilson had a tie, right? I think Wilson may have been our first tie. And then Denver got it for 60. You see Herbert there at 72. I didn't have any of these quarterbacks over 50 when it was all said and done. I brought everybody down. I don't know what you guys are doing, but I spent a lot of time bringing values down the last couple of days. And the quarterbacks were the first ones for me. I was like, oh shit! And then of course, now I have Taylor Heineke as my quarterback. So there you go. I mean, that's what you get.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, Anthony, were you thinking of jumping in at some point? Not after this initial rush, but kind of when all the big guys went. Were you thinking, well, I got to rethink this? They're going for more than I should. Maybe I should adjust my strategy. Or were you like, you know what? I'm going to stick to my guns. I got my budget, what I'm going to spend on one, and I'm just going to go with that.
Mostly stick to my guns and focus on yak.
Right.
That was the idea. Try to get as many A's on there as I could, get a good flat passer, and then hope, because you don't know if you're going to be able to trade or not. I mean, you think you're going to be able to because people are spending money like this. The idea is that they're going to have holes, and somebody's going to be there to fill them. I'm not going to last until the second session though to help fill holes, but I should be able to fill some holes and get an upgraded quarterback. Probably, if I don't, I was looking real closely at the flat pass right column of these guys. So the Bridgewaters, the Heineke, the Garoppolos. I took Garoppolo off the board very fast because his yak guessed right on 6-7 is -1 for both. A lot of these quarterbacks start you out with +2 or +3 or even +4. Wow. So Garoppolo at 6-7 -1, you have to take him off immediately. But to really answer your question, it was try to get the best of the second tier that I could, and even that I didn't do successfully. I mean, ultimately that did not work out. Very Autumn Wind-like for me in my quarterback situation. But not to dwell on that. Kittle for 42 is a reasonable number. I wouldn't pay that much for a couple of reasons, but that's very reasonable. Yak and obviously great.
Yeah, just to run down the tight ends, I wrote them down here. Kittle was 42. Next was Kelsey, went off the board, 39. Waller, 32, and Andrews, 47. Just to give you an idea of some of the top guys. Gronk was 22. Ertz was 19. Dalton Schultz was 10. Knox was 4. I only know that because those are my two tight ends.
I think a few of us were hoping to grab Gronk, so the secret was out.
Yeah, Dennis and I went at it.
I think he bid like 28 too, and it went down, right?
Yeah, I bid 21. Yeah.
Yep. Brady for 66 and Prescott for 66.
Josh Allen. Prescott go before Brady? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, there were 4 quarterbacks I wanted. There were 4 quarterbacks left when we kind of hit that little Prescott, Carr, Brady, and Rodgers. I had those 4 on my list. And so I got nervous when Prescott, I think I bid 60 on Prescott or 65. And I think I drove that price. And then, yeah, Carr, I didn't bid that high on Carr.
That's if you look at him, I mean, that's a pretty good bargain,
he's
right?
a steal. Yeah, 51. Yeah. It's about $10 lower than you would think he would be.
Yeah, I mean, it's even above what I valued him still, of course, but I was obviously valuing him kind of low. But compared to everybody else, that's a really nice pickup. Is that Ken Jets?
Don't tell that to Ken. I'll never hear the end of that.
Yeah, and the Rodgers bidding, there was a 100 bid and a 69 bid.
That's crazy.
So if anyone wanted to jump in at 80, they would have still lost, but it would have been a lot higher.
I think the 69 bid was mine, I believe.
Cooper Kupp for 56. Mac Jones, a more reasonable 36. Goff at 40. I mean, he's having a good season this year, so, he might have a nice card next year. Derrick Henry was an interesting one,
Yeah.
As much as we like the Derek Carr at 51 for the Jets, Henry, right now it's an open question of whether he's out of gas, right? Out there in the world, and he's going to maybe prove the world wrong this weekend. But people are openly questioning whether the tank is starting to deplete if he's on the other side of the hill.
Yeah, the running back numbers I wrote down here was Taylor led, obviously 78, Henry 56, Dalvin Cook 56, Mixon 34, James Conner 40, Gordon 31, Howard 31, Elijah Mitchell 32, Dearness Johnson 26. Give you an idea of some of the running back values.
Those aren't bad deals in there, mixed in there. Najee Harris at 31. Trey Lance went for 12. Jalen Ramsey, turned out to be a pretty good number that early at 46. There's a lot of sixes going in the 40s. And he didn't end up, Butch, you didn't end up overpaying for Ramsey there early on, which is kind of surprising.
Yeah, I was happy with that. I thought the corners would go a little higher, actually.
Yep.
Yeah, the corner. Go ahead.
I think I bid 55, and it dropped down to 46. I believe.
Yeah, the cornerbacks. There were I don't know. I have written down here 8-6 corners that I ended up writing down the numbers here. The range was 42 was the low. The next lowest was 45. There were a couple 46s, 2 50s, a 51, and another 46. So 46 seemed to be the mean.
Justin Jefferson at 72. Did that lead the receivers?
70. It was 72. All right. Yeah, I had written down 74.
I should have led the receivers. Yeah. I think I overpaid for Devontae Adams.
How much did you pay?
I don't remember.
Hold on,
I just
I'll look it
remember.
up.
I think I overpaid for him.
56.
Kyle Pitts at 45. So you see this, you started moving down here.
Devontae Adams was 61.
Yeah.
Chase went for 56.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got Chase. I really wanted him. You mentioned the yak at the A yak.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's what triggered me to take him. To
Pretty
me,
sure he's the only star receiver with a yak. The top flight guys. Jefferson's a B, right?
Yeah. Jefferson is a D. I think that's C.
No, he's a B.
He's a B. But Chase to me was the best receiver that I ranked. So as you can see, I went hard after him. I went hard after Taylor as well, because those to me were the top two offensive players besides the quarterback.
What's Debo's yak? I don't remember. I wasn't even.
Samuel, I'll tell you because I do have
He's
a chart here. I believe he's an A.
Yeah, he's an A.
And he went for 66
too, but I didn't have enough money.
66
I can't remember.
to you, Butch.
Was that what I paid for him?
You have a hell of an offense, Butch.
Except my offensive line. If you look at that, I got a 6'4" tackle and a 4'4" guard, and that's about it. So, but I'll probably play unless I trade Judy. I'll be playing 3 wide.
Mm-hmm.
I hopefully I can trade either Chubb or Sanders. I'm not sure which.
And there's Chubb for 66. And then Tyreek went for 67 right after. Teddy went for 31. And that was in that second group, all of us competing for that second group of guys. Teddy at 31. I think Matt Ryan 32. Jimmy G's in there too for 32.
I think I panicked a little bit on Garoppolo, but I just wanted to make sure I had a usable quarterback in there. So hopefully it'll work out. Although somebody's offering up Tannehill already, so we'll see what that is. But everybody seems to be pretty set with running backs, really.
Yeah. Looking down, Donald 56. We really didn't get into defense till later on. A lot of offense to start. And maybe Dennis was right that we were just looking toward the offensive guys to nominate, or for whatever reason. But is this all offense here in this first page? Oh, DJ Reader was the first guy, so there's that. Otherwise,
I threw Reader in the queue first.
Yeah. Was that just to see what would happen, Mike, or what?
No, I was going to run 3-4, so I wanted to get rid of all the D tackles.
Gotcha. I got you. Yeah, a lot of quarterbacks went. I was hoping. I think I put a pretty decent bid on Kyler Murray, but somebody outbid me by a few bucks on him.
Kyler Murray.
Pitts for 45. Yeah, and this is basically 85% offense. Then Darius Slay goes for 45. Second 6 corner.
That was my mistake. I should have had Slay instead of Sanders.
You know, one of the things, if you think about it, Anthony, right? You pay say 40 or 50 for a 6, right? Well, early on, some of the 5s are going for $35.
Yeah.
It's almost like you're better off taking the 6 for 45 instead of the 5 for 35 to 30. You know,
Totally
I mean,
agree.
then the 4s are going to be $10. You know what I mean?
Yep. Very glad that we as a group showed some sanity here. Darnold for 2, Dalton for 1.
Those guys are worthless.
The Darnold thing, that was an accident. I was, instead of having a 0 in there, I had the 2 for some reason. I didn't want Darnold.
Yeah, I hear you.
Well, he'll be your backup.
He'll be your cut probably, right?
Yeah, he's a cut. And then
All right.
I made another mistake. I don't mind David Montgomery, but I thought I was bidding on somebody else, like a Dory Jackson or something. And I, like, a couple times it looked like there was one person up and then it turned out to be somebody else. I don't know if I was having like optical illusions or whatever.
I
thought
it
was
thing.
Yeah, so I thought I was bidding on Jackson. So I'm like, what the fuck? I have this guy. How much did I bid for him? You know?
Well, let's go for anybody who's on here. Let's just, if you don't mind, do a minute or two on your team. Let's go. Let's start with you, Lawrence. San Fran. And trying to pull it up here best I can.
Yeah, a little bit further. There you go.
Oh. Okay. So what do you got, Lawrence? Best you can.
Okay, so I think I was kind of doing okay on budgeting stuff, but I got too crazy of adding Trayvon Diggs, and that kind of like screwed up my budget a little bit. But again, since there is some trading, I was still able to clean up some. I mean, I think I'll be able to fix up those holes. But I got the key things I wanted. I got a 6 center, you know, so Hennessy not too bad for 29. I got a 6 nose tackle. I got 2 6 middle linebackers.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I got the 6 corner with Diggs. So just there's so few 6 with two 6 middle linebackers and both being 6'6s. It just gives me so much flexibility to really cover that linebacker position, and so I don't need to have the greatest outside linebackers, but I'll see what I can get. And then I felt pretty good with getting James Conner, even though 39 is a little expensive, but he's really such a good card with a good amount of attempts. And then Montgomery's backup, not bad. I felt good about the receivers of Cooks, Pittman, McLaurin. I really wanted to get Devin Duvernay because I wanted to be able to cover my lone kick and lone punt return in a card that was like pretty decent. So I felt like that wasn't that bad getting that for 16.
Yeah.
And then late, I really liked getting Rousseau at 16. Greg Rousseau at 16.
Yeah.
Defensive end. So, and I got Kyle Hustek, you know, one of my favorites for fullback. So I felt pretty good about it. I just like a little bit overextended on the pay, but hopefully I'll be able to fill those holes.
Yeah. So what are your holes going into next week? OLB.
Yeah, 2 OLBs, a corner, a strong safety, and 2 offensive tackles.
Yeah, and Duvernay's having a pretty decent year too right now.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if he'll be worth 16 or not next year, but he's, you know, he's pretty decent this year. Yeah, that defense up the middle is it's incredible. Incredible defense up the middle. Wow. Campbell, Warner, and Clark. The only 6. The only 6 in the set went for 51 for the nose. Butch, you want to take us through the Green Bay Packers?
We can try. They suck, but we'll go through them anyway.
Yeah,
You know, you wouldn't know it to look at this team, but I actually went into the draft supposedly going to go defense, and that got changed really quick. Where am I? Oh, I only have like 10 players. It looks like, huh? You know, I got the 2 6 safeties, which was key. I really wanted to do that.
Ownership.
Yeah, the kill corners. I'm sorry. That'll help. Even if I mean, I'm going to end up with 2-4 safeties probably, so that'll still give me a good shot at a decent defense.
Well, you can always blitz one of those safeties with those 2-6 corners. There's not too much to worry about.
Exactly. I have, like I said, I probably panicked on Garoppolo a little bit, but it is what it is. I'm going to live with him or trade somebody to get a better guy. I have offense. Like I said, I have Devontae Adams. I have Travis Kelce, and I have the other wide receiver who's Debo. So I'm pretty set there, and I'm going to probably play a 3 wide out with Judy. So if Garoppolo can stand up long enough and get him the ball, we should be okay. Defense, I got the corners, and that's about it. I need a tackle. I need an end. I need 2 outside linebackers and 2 safeties. So that's what I'm going to be concentrating on next week. But other than I don't know how like I said, Taysom Hill was a mistake. Miles Sanders was a mistake. It was, like I said, I thought I was bidding on Slay when I was bidding on Sanders, which would have saved me a few bucks, and I would have had that later on down the road. Hill was only $8, so for a backup, that's fine. I'm okay with that.
Now, Sanders at 46 isn't the worst deal in the world. That's not
No,
so
he's got a great card. I've got to trade one of those 2 guys, so I can't plan both at the same time. So we'll see what happens.
Who else do we have on here? Michael, go ahead.
Okay. I got outbid thoroughly the first hour. I don't think I had a player after the first hour. I just couldn't. I didn't want to go crazy, and I just lost out on a lot of guys. I wanted some 6s. I just was a little bit lower than where I needed to be, and so I just started picking away a little bit at it. I grabbed the 2 DNs. I probably got them because they don't have much of a pass rush. I grabbed the fullback for $2. I like having a fullback for full house. That's the only reason why I grabbed him. And we got to the 6-6 Winfield. I had so much money, and I jumped on him. I probably overpaid $10 on him. There were other 6s going for 40 later, but I like the 6-6 because I added 6 to the run defense with that run D6. This is not the order I actually had drafted them in. I drafted Johnny Johnson next, I think, for 28, and I noticed. Well, no, this isn't the order I drafted the guys in at all. Now looking at it, but anyway, I needed a 6 free safety to get good pass defense, and I had Johnny Johnson. So when Marcus Williams came up, I kind of pushed the issue to get that other 6 to get the good pass defense. So I got that, and then the running backs. I was gonna kind of wait on running backs, but these guys came up. I kind of liked them, so I grabbed them. 39 carries a game, and I think that's going to be perfect. Trey Sermon, he's got a good run card. Also, he was just going to be a backup. I grabbed him for $3, and then on the defensive side, Miles Jack, KJ Wright, and Van Noy. I had a ton of money when Van Noy came up. He actually tied. So he got thrown back in the queue, and I think the last hour he got put back up there. So I had all the money left over, so I said, well, might as well grab the 6 outside linebacker. So that's what I did there. And then I grabbed 2 offensive tackles. I'm a little disappointed. I wanted a 7 pass blocking offensive tackle, at least one of them. I screwed that up. Oh, I grabbed Brady, was my first player I think I grabbed. For 66. Like I said, it was going to be Brady or Rodgers. They were the only 2 guys that I really was excited about, and so I kind of jumped the gun on Brady. And then the tight ends, I kept losing on all the tight ends I really wanted, so I kind of went just value for them. And then the wide receivers, I was one of the last people, I think, to grab a wide receiver, and it was DeAndre Hopkins. And then also Mooney was again a very, very late pick, and then Ridley just for this season. He's got a decent card. Maybe he'll probably be my third wideout. That's it for me. It looks like I'm going to have good pass defense, average run defense.
So day 2 focus is going to be?
Day 2 focus. I don't want to tell you what my focus is going to be.
Well, I'll know soon when we look at.
I'm going to try to get some low budget guys.
So I think that's going to be true for anybody who has any dollars at all. Is that you're looking for trade chips. I think the trading,
Yes.
the trade period, which starts right after the next auction, is going to be insane.
I am going to try to grab some value players.
Yeah, and I would just suggest to everybody, don't take the first deal you're offered. Shop around, because I think there's going to be 24 buyers and sellers, not just a couple. There's going to be a good amount. So,
Hey Anthony, that was a question I wanted to ask you. It wasn't a big deal, but on the Burton, the fullback Burton, I know the first time around it was a tie. And the second time around, Mike and I both bid $2, but he got him, and it said I don't know what it said, but
yeah,
I don't know why he got him. Maybe if I forgot to, lock in my bid, I'm not sure. But it was just
I did.
I thought I saw that too.
I did see that. Yeah, you're right. I thought maybe it was 1 or it wasn't up there at all. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Okay. Like I said, it wasn't that big a deal, but
Yeah,
it's just a question.
I think there's still some 5 fullbacks out there, Butch.
Yeah, and I'm like you. I only need one for in the red zone, basically.
Yeah, full house.
Okay, I don't have the screen up. Who else is on? Speak up.
I'm up, Willie. Miami
Willie.
Dolphins.
Okay, Willie.
All right. The deal is this. I kind of went for guys that I really wanted, and I didn't care at the beginning if I overpaid for them or not. And Taylor is somebody that I wanted badly enough to put a little money on him. I just felt that he was the best running back out there overall, and I figured, well, I'm going to put some money, and I got him for $78, which is probably a little bit more than I wanted to pay for him. But anyway, you want some quality players, which said you have to do. Same thing with Chase and Diggs. I felt those 2 guys were pretty strong. I wanted some good threats out there as well. Jamar Chase being an 8 yak really, really pushed me. Same thing with Taylor, by the way. Catching the ball is also an 8. So that helps a little bit. The one area where I figured I had to do something different was in the quarterback position. I didn't really want Stafford. I threw about $55 thinking, well, this guy is going to go for at least $70. I ended up getting him for $53. So, I said, well, I got stuck with him. I really wanted Tua. That's what I really wanted. So I threw $60 at Tua and I ended up getting him also for $56. So now I have $100 worth of quarterback. And I don't know, maybe I'll trade Stafford or something like that. If you guys are listening.
We're listening.
You're listening.
Oh, yeah. There's people who need quarterbacks out there. You'll find a home for Stafford.
Yeah, so, as long as I get some value back. Then aside from that, the tight end is somebody that cost me very little. Who do I have? Was it Conklin, I think it was? And I paid $10 for him. So for a guy who got 61 catches, it's not bad. Beasley I got for $3. So that's, I guess, a little value there. As far as everything else, though, because I overspent at the beginning, I ended up with some decisions to be made in the other areas. So I ended up with a 6'7" center, which is one of the best ones, I guess, out there. And I ended up with 2 tackles that actually can play. I got Fisher, and I got Teron Smith, a 5'5" and a 6'7". So I'm guardless right now. I need guards, and I only have money for a $1 guard. So I end up with 0-0 in the guard position. So we'll see how that works out.
That's kind of a decision we all have to make too in that second day. Starting up is that in the second day, it's like, do you go for value in terms of trade chips, or do you go to fill holes? Because a lot of us can't really afford to do both.
Exactly. Yeah. So that should be interesting. If I'm able to make a decent trade for Stafford, maybe I could fill up some of those holes. But I'm not desperate. I can keep both players, I guess, if I have to. As far as the defense goes, I'm actually happy about it so far. I mean, my backfield is 2 5 corners I got 2 of them for $20, which is dirt cheap in my mind.
Mm-hmm. But they're slot guys. They're slot corners, though.
Well, yeah,
that's why they went so cheap. Yeah, because they won't be able to play the actual corner.
The actual corner. So I'm gonna end up with 2 other 4 corners, I guess, or something like that.
Yeah.
And then I got 2 good safeties. Ward, which is a 5 and a 6, and Holland, who is a 5-5. So safety wise, I'm doing fine. The only problem that I have now is I only have 1 defensive end and 1 defensive tackle. So I have quite a bit of holes out there, in the defense. So it's going to be interesting how I handle that on the way back on next Saturday and see how I fix that issue. And by the way,
I have a defensive tackle for you. So we
do.
can talk about that.
All right.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's what I got. I mean, it was definitely a lesson learned as far as how to spend your money. I noticed, Tony, that you were holding back for a long time. You had like over $400 something for a long, long time. And I think you were waiting to see, what came to you later on. And I think that's a good strategy as well.
Yeah. I mean, and any questions for Willie? I guess I'll take it next. It's a good segue. What's my team, Atlanta? Yeah, I mean, look, I thought I waited a little bit. I should have joined the party a little bit more as far as quarterbacks go. I just couldn't bring myself to bid $60 for Derek Carr, for example, right? And looking back on it, I probably would have been very happy with that. So, kind of a, I would view that as a mistake. That's mistake number 1. Mistake number 2 was reaching, I think, 23 for Shaq Mason. I could really use those $10 right now. I could have gotten another guard, same rating, $10 less, just 45 minutes later. So I did not look at the available guards fast enough to say, don't need to go sort of, wasn't all in, but halfway in on Shaq Mason. That's sort of costing me. Now it's good. He's good. He's going to be good next year and all that sort of stuff. So that's nice. But still, net a mistake. The other notable ones, I mean, after I figured though that I was not going to be involved in the top quarterback. I just figured that there'd be guys who'd be willing to pay more than me. And that was a correct assumption, but that happened even more than I probably thought it would happen. So ended up with Taylor Heineke, we talked about at the top, just started looking at more of a flat pass focus. And I mentioned this in the pre-auction broadcast too, that, the potential importance of Yak as an alternate strategy. And that's exactly what happened. So get Javonte Williams, good this year, good next year, 31, probably a keeper. That's good. And 200 carries is nice. The Chuba Hubbard decision, I mean, I'm sure most of you were sort of thinking, like I was thinking, that he's essentially your tight end. I mean, he's a replacement for your tight end, not so much as a pass catcher, but you get to play him as a fullback. So you can play pro set, you can play 3 wide, 2 running back. That's where the tight end piece comes in. And you can throw to him as a Yak B, and he can get you some decent yards guest wrong running too. So he's kind of a tight end replacement. And for $18, is that the right deal? Would I rather have, a Gronk in the 20s or a Hubbard at 18 to give me that run option? I don't know. Kind of right along the indifference curve there. It's a high price for Hubbard. He's probably one and done. He doesn't have much of a place right now in the Panthers' backfield, given that McCaffrey's healthy, at least so far. I guess we should just wait a day and see what happens on McCaffrey's health, because that's always the view on McCaffrey's health. But he really doesn't have a place in that backfield. He's like third string, right now. So he'll be good this year in terms of an offensive strategy. I need a better quarterback for sure. I don't know if a Stafford is the right guy or not, but I will be shopping for one, because I'd like to think that I won't be able to go in with Heineke. But thankfully, there was a reward for, like you said, Willie, for holding back. I mean, the defense looks pretty good. Looks like I should be able to pull good. Not there yet, but just a hair away from good in the 3-4 even. So have an extra 5 defensive tackle with DJ Reed, who's a trade chip. Have Joey Bosa. Got him for 18 at the end. Wouldn't have been able to do that if I was spending a lot of money early. And Bosa is, one of those linebackers in theory is expendable. So I could move a Milano, he's worth a lot. I can move a Bosa, he's worth a lot. I can move a Bolton, he's worth a lot. So one of those guys is probably gonna go away, and that'll be okay. So just like everybody else, I'll be looking for trading on the receiver front. Wanted Godwin or DJ Moore because of their yak and because they're good receivers. Preferred Moore, but Goodwin came up first. Godwin came up first. So that's just the way it worked out. What's really hunting for Jalen Guyton? C-Yak is respectable. It's okay. I wanted all A's and B's, but it's good to have a deep threat. And at $11, that's actually a decent value. So I'm okay with that. Rondell Moore, he's hurt, hasn't been playing. But he gives that a yak. He takes up the punt position. So decide to spend some dollars for him at the end. And that's the Falcons. And he have 3 corners too. So one of those corners is probably going to be traded. The three decent ones. Any thoughts on the Falcons?
Solid start.
Yep.
All right. Anybody else out there? Dennis not with us? Hear his views. I thought I saw Detroit peek in. Not sure if the audio's working. Check here. Anybody else? Anybody else want? So I think we covered everybody. Everybody who's here. All right. Any other thoughts before we call it a night?
Hey, it's just amazing to have this draft league now. I mean, this auction draft league.
Yeah.
I mean, what a huge bonus.
Very
for the
cool.
draft community. Yeah.
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
I was pretty excited just about a different way to draft. It's kind of fun.
And it worked well enough that I think it's not too far away from being the way that we all do our draft leagues too.
Yeah.
Instead of Slack. I mean, I think we all understand we're an older group. It takes a lot for us to change, but this keeps the time in the draft. You see who's available. There's no risk of taking somebody who's already taken. That goes away entirely. You see everything up there. You see everybody's team in real time. Those are nice features that for the first time through.
Yep.
First time through was pretty successful. So
Yeah,
I think
amazing.
so. First time through was fantastic. Yeah.
You couldn't have done better on it. I mean, really, but you did so much prep and troubleshooting and dry runs and all that, but it really paid off.
It did.
Thanks. All right. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it. As soon as I get a CSV from them, I'll turn that into an Excel file and get that over to you as soon as I can. Hopefully I get that by Monday, and we can have an updated roster file. This draft is going to sit here. You can go to this link anytime you want and see it, just as we're looking at it now. So you have that as we speak to do whatever you'd like. So
Very cool.
all right, everybody, have a good night. Thanks again.
All right, take care, guys.
Good job.
Bye now. Thank you. All right, that's a wrap. Thanks, everybody. We will see you certainly by next week, and you'll hear from me before then.
You've been watching CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League.